South East Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, in an era of rising energy costs, businesses and consumers are examining ways in which these bills can be reduced. Are smart batteries the answer? My first guest certainly thinks so. Eddie McGoldrick from the electric storage company joins us now to tell us more. Eddie, we'll be discussing the electric storage company and how it uses smart batteries to harness the energy generated from renewable sources. But first, I'd like to get an insight into your own background.
Well, my background